BroTime.
BroTime. Oh, did you know there's a sports equinox?
What?
I don't know if my buddy Torin made this up. So my housemate Colleen Torin, right?
Yeah.
Gets all excited the other day. I'm like, hey, Torin, what you up to? Because he's like in off season right now. So he's like, his job is to work out and to eat and just like put on muscle and like do sports shit, right?
Yeah.
And so so I asked him every morning, like, what you up to? He's like, oh, I'm gonna go work out and then figure it out. I'm like, cool. So I asked him the other morning, I'm like, hey, what's up with today? He's like, working out, but it's sports equinox. And I'm like, what is that? I've worked in sports bars my entire life, more or less. Like, what is a sports equinox? Yeah. And it's like, he said it's the day where the 4 major sports are all playing at the same time. So yeah, baseball, football, soccer, or hockey,
they're all
and
aligned.
Are all on a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh.
And so I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool, man. I never...
I didn't even think about it.
It didn't change my perception of
Yeah, you're a big
sports.
consumption
It's
guy. I'm
good.
surprised you didn't know about that.
Dude, it's ridiculous having a person that is into sports in the house, because with the exception of my TV in my room, every single TV is on a sport, usually the same sport, as well as walking around with his phone with the sport on too. It's interesting, but again, it's like that's his life.
Yeah.
Like, I listen to podcasts all day long. Like, I get it, not like this is my life, but we consume the entertainment we want. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Fucking crazy.
Sports.
Yeah.
What team does he play for again?
He is on the Marlins.
Right.
Yep. So he's on the Marlins farm team.
Every time I hear farm team, I just think of League of Their Own.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, he plays for the Rockford Peaches.
Yeah. This is our daughter, Dottie. This is our other daughter, Dottie's sister.
Jimmy Dugan.
I would love to. I think I would be Madonna in that.
Oh, in that movie, I'm Rosie. I'm fucking Rosie all day long. Yeah.
Kill your kid.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. That movie is exceptionally good. Like, I'm still a believer that like Major League is the best sports movie, but that's
Major League's pretty dope.
Yeah.
I love the
Marla Hooch.
Oh, what a hitter! Yeah,
what a hitter!
Down shit, just like fucking baseball. I'm singing for
her drunk singing is just.
What's the guy's name? I'm singing for.
And singing to and wait. Fuck! I can hear it in my brain. What is it? I feel like it's a W.
Yeah. I don't know that well.
Oh my god! What is her husband's name?
Yeah. It could have been you.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, and I always quote or reference the Tom Hanks peeing scene.
Oh, it's so
good.
Like, usually those morning pees or something like that, like, oh, that's a League of Their Own type pee right there.
When I was on shrooms in Belgium, I guess I took a pee that was like fucking
Nelson.
Yeah.
Is it Nelson?
Nelson.
I'm singing for Nelson. Thank you. Yeah, let's hear more about this piss, Robin. People in the other room were like, dude, what's up? I'm like, one of those, like, the mind is not thinking about how bad you're apparently doing, it's just like, I didn't even notice.
Are they okay? The pipe's working?
Yeah, everything's working. Just,
Yeah, I don't really have any peas like that anymore since I quit drinking.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really
that too.
Not like piling it in before I go to bed.
Yeah,
I used to.
I don't know if girls have it.
I just wake up coughing now.
Yeah.
I just wake up, clear my lungs, and then go right back to sleep.
Right.
Yeah. Haven't figured it all out. I just don't drink.
Baby steps, man. It's baby steps, right? One day at a time. Did you guys hear the new Tyler, the Creator album yet?
I have heard
Chromacopia?
clips of Sticky.
After 2005.
I've heard clips of Sticky.
Yeah,
Sticky
it's a good
is
album.
Pretty great.
It's a good album. Yeah.
The visuals so far that I've seen are pretty impressive too.
Yeah, it's themed after some kids book of some sort. There's like Chroma was the director of the colors or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool, and it's like okay, so again, like I think last episode I was talking about, like I'm just trying to stay up to like abreast of what's going on with music. But one of the things that really drew me to this album and draws me to Tyler and just to listen to him as an old school, I guess, plus 40-year-old man now that's listening to music my entire life. He's making music that's supposed to be listened to from an album perspective, front to back. It's consecutive. There's like a theme through it, you know, and that's that was a big thing in the 90s, from whether it was intentional or not, albums were created to be listened to all the way through. That's just the way media was like created, right? Now it's like singles and random snippets here and there,
it's releasing a song every 4 or 5 months.
Well,
yeah.
I saw this guy online talking about the Tyler album, or not the album, but the track Sticky, and he's like, how the fuck am I supposed to dance to this? This is so stupid. I was like, that's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah.
Like, not every song is a dance song. Like,
it's a big club banger.
I didn't even know what the song was fully, but as soon as I heard like that's your complaint about it, I was like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Go listen to literally anybody else.
Totally. And I don't know if it's like just me getting older. I mean, we've talked about this a few times now, but like I really appreciate people's different approach to creativity.
Yeah.
And like I've kind of taken my own opinion out of it. Like there's still like, I personally appreciate the beauty in what you've created. Or there's sometimes where I just like, I don't get it, but I'm cool with not getting it. Like I get that I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like that's on me.
Well,
That's
I'm
not
pretty
on
much
you as the
resigned
artist.
that I just don't fucking get pretty much most of this shit. Like kids with their,
Kids.
like young ladies that do the sweatshirt half on, half off the shoulder thing.
That was from the 80s, man.
That's just fucking still going on now.
Well, how do you not
The
get
Flashdance
it?
look?
It was during your generation.
Fucking dude, that's half your shoulders.
Do you
gonna be
remember-
cold. Same reason why I don't wear
still.
fucking vests, bro.
It's a hint. It's a hint at sexuality. It's just the
Right.
shoulder.
Yeah, what the fuck is that all
Well,
about?
do you remember
God
like in
damn,
the
I'm
early
get off my lawn.
2000s,
What am I,
like
80?
Yeah, you
where
are.
it was like
Shit.
it wasn't the baggy off the shoulder, but it was like a very specific top that was like a tank top, but only one strap. That was so it was like a tube top basically, but only one tank top strap on one side. That was like one of the looks that girls could have, and I never liked it because I needed a bra.
Yeah.
So I
Needed
just,
that second.
I needed that extra strap. So I never could wear it, but I was always really jealous of girls that could wear it. But I remember looking back on it and I was like, what a stupid fucking outfit that was. But I was so upset I couldn't wear a one shoulder fucking tank top.
I think what you just said, like the outfits itself, like it's not my place to like to understand like skinny jeans. We talked about
Well, yeah,
that,
you
right?
wore Jinkos at one point.
Well,
I mean, it's
totally,
like
totally.
we fucked up.
But
yeah,
but at the same, no, I didn't fuck up. That was great. No,
That was a right choice.
Like, we got to do that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like I had a reverse mullet. I just had bangs. I had the rest of my head shaved. Like,
Whoa.
we got-
Oh,
yeah.
that was a
Holy
look.
Shit,
Totally,
when
yeah.
was that?
14, 15.
Oh,
years
hell
old.
yeah. That's
Okay, yeah,
exactly
you
when
didn't
you're
know
supposed to
anything.
have that.
43.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
before I
No,
had
no
my
shit,
kid.
dude. I'm like, how
right
am I
before I
just
wore
hearing
Red
about this?
Yeah.
I would have unearthed some
I had to
photos.
grow out the lightning bolt shave
my
first
God.
before I could do
Oh,
that.
wow.
I remember
But
that
it's
look.
like
Did you have a rat tail growing up?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No,
yeah,
well, I had
yeah.
more of a mullet. I had a mullet.
Oh
No, I had a
man,
mullet.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, I think we got to explore and we got to experiment with this shit.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
wearing an all matching windbreaker suit, you know,
well,
shit like that.
I mean, we're so many people feel like constrained, and I see this a lot in this like spiritual world, esoteric world, things like that. Especially people that get involved with like plant medicines or the idea of ascension or the idea of like I'm gonna leave this plane, this earthly plane. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's on you, right? I don't know enough about it to tell you wrong, but at the same time, the boxes that people get put in when they get an inkling of an understanding that they can push past those barriers. The joke I make is sometimes Michael becomes Starfeather, right? And Starfeather is a great place to be because Michael might have been way too constrained in Michael's life to understand that he could approach an idea of a mentality like a Starfeather type person, right? Just like, and I'm just using that as a metaphor. Sometimes Michael stays a Starfeather and just blows out the doors, right? Yeah. Sometimes Michael can see that Starfeather might be a little the opposite side of what that just happened, right? So from the super constrained boxes to now to the everything is a thing and the universe will provide, and no, you still got to fucking try, homie, right? And so let's put some boundaries back, your own personal boundaries back on.
You still gotta provide, homie.
Yeah.
I know how many times I hear that. Oh, I'm just gonna let the universe give me. But okay, no, you still
Still
gotta
gotta pay
walk
electric.
foot in front of the other. You
Yeah.
gotta show the fact that you're trying. You can't just sit back and like manifest the universe to just fucking do whatever it wants to you. That's not the way this shit works. Not that I know,
Yeah.
but that's not the way it feels right to me. Right?
Yeah.
If that works
Not
for
without
you,
a shitload of money.
good on you.
Well,
Right?
and
Yeah.
I also feel like that's not the point.
Yeah, right.
Like the point is
We're still an
not.
active part of this world.
Yeah, is to learn from mistakes, is to grow, it's to experience. So if everything is just like laid out in front of you, I feel like that's not the point of life.
I'm still just thinking about. I was talking to Tiffany about this because we did our podcast last week, and that shit hasn't dropped yet. Probably for all you millions of people out there.
You guys are doing a podcast together?
No, I was talking about our.
Oh,
podcast,
our podcast.
And I was talking about the notion of like, I just go to the fucking mountains and just go away and be myself or be by myself. And it's like, well, I haven't air quote, provided anything or brought anything to the world.
Right.
And I'm going, well, that makes
validation.
sense to everybody except industry people. It's like, you fucking did your stripes. Fucking 4-star General Schwarzkopf. You fucking enjoy the woods. Enjoy the fucking woods.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't mail fucking bombs to people and you're fine with me.
Yeah.
But no, just
the people on the inside fucking get it.
The guys, I'm still fucking thinking about that kind of shit. I haven't gotten. I mean, I don't work in restaurants right now, but it's like I still haven't fucking removed myself from that shit. You know, so it's just like that mentality of like, oh no, I gotta go have that.
What
career
service or career is warranted enough to reach that point of retirement? And there are so many industries that are not. But if the one that deserves the most is fucking restaurant.
Well, it's like I thought of the receptionist who called Tiffany for her dentist appointment, and I'm just going, that's a predominantly female job, all right, and it's actually ironically, while I'm saying that, it was actually a male that called her to like confirm and shit, but it's just like, do I honestly feel in the scheme of schemes that they're actually like, if we're gonna, compare that industry versus fucking serving, like, as far as actually like providing something, it's like, oh, you not saying you didn't do anything, but it's like, you called a half dozen people.
Yeah.
Fucking, you typed maybe 30 emails. Like, and it's just like, in the irrational service industry mind, it's like that person's done their fuck because they
You're
work
not
Monday
rage
Friday.
Smoking in the alley after
You're just
a
fucking like,
shift.
I need to take 5. I need this, guys. I need to go decompress outside.
When you can eat your salad out of a Tupperware at a computer, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Is that what it is? If
you can eat your the vibe salad? Is not the same. Yeah.
Dude, I remember for the longest
Nothing against
time.
receptionists.
No. I worked office jobs. They're a different kind of frustrating, but it is not the same soul sucking. It's not the same.
I remember for the longest time, like when I switched out of restaurants, I couldn't eat like normally hot food. I'd have to wait till it like died.
Yeah,
I can't eat at a normal pace ever.
We're gonna want to sit
never really
in the
could.
window.
But
the plate's hot, but the food's cold.
Yeah.
But the mentality you're talking about, like, it's like. I empathize so much. Like I've been out of the restaurants for 5 years now, right? Roughly 5.
Only 5?
Only 5. Yeah, it doesn't seem like. It seems like longer. Seems like shorter.
Prime,
yeah,
Prime was the last one.
Or
was it that?
Well, Prime was technically I served there for like a summer, but
but was that 5 years ago?
Yeah, it was right before COVID.
Fuck.
But even all of that, like I've fought so hard to have this life now, to make this life work.
Didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
But all that being said, like I can't tell you how many times like I still need to validate my own worth to myself, to give myself days off. Like we can't just flip that shit off.
Yeah.
Even when we get the thing we're searching for, that mentality is so fucking deep and so hard to unprogram, because like you got to think, like I've been doing that shit for 20 years. So that same rhetoric, that same multitasking, that same capitalize,
time to lean, you can't time to clean.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, get fucked, man.
It's in your
like,
bones.
You got 110%. I can't physically do that. I know it's a saying, but like, let's speak in feasible terms here.
Yeah.
And so like, there's so many times like where I will just sit here in this office, have no clients coming in, have nothing really to do, and search for things because I feel like a piece of shit because I don't have anything to do, even though like everything is. You're
not ignoring red bills and shit in the
Well,
mail.
and,
it's like growth is happening. Yeah. Clients are. It's like a day off, but I still can't get out of that fucking mentality.
Yeah. But you left that industry to escape that mentality. So now you're in a different industry with the same mentality. So like the point of it, like to remind yourself in those days, is like this wasn't the point. Is to do the same thing laterally, just in a different space.
Totally. It's like one of the arguments right now. I heard this guy say, and it's really stuck with me, and I've thought a lot about it. But this comedian was talking about microdosing, and he's like, "I love the idea of microdosing." But I was talking to my buddy, and my buddy was like, "Yeah, like I get so much more work done when I microdose, and I can get approach things in different ways." And he's like, "No, microdosing is not made for us to be better workers,
right? Yeah,
no,
it's
made for us to be better humans. Like we want to be a better human, you know, a human being, not a human doing. So we want to connect to ourselves so we can find our passions, find our
a
creativities.
human being, not a human doing.
Right? You know, it's like, come on now. But it's like, you know, but that's the mentality now, right? Oh, these Silicon Valley folks are just microdosing, and look at all the things they're innovating, creating. So now you have like office managers and fucking receptionists.
I watched
and
a guy in
fucking
Drugs
servers.
Inc. who was a Silicon Valley guy. He's, you know, wearing a ski mask while he sits there and talks about all the shit. He's just like, I make $380,000 a year, and he's just sitting there just doing massive amounts of blow in front of his computer and shit. He's just like, this is what I do.
I could make $380.
Kiddison had that line. He's like, if you can afford it, you don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I think to the multitasking part, because like I used to be really good at that shit. I used to be able to like balance all the plates, do like a schedule, check people out, fucking talk to this person, defuse a guest situation, put away a liquor, like all that shit, right?
It was a flow.
I have zero ability to multitask nowadays. Like it actually makes me feel like anxious and panicky. But I've gotten okay with that because I don't want to multitask. I don't want to try to do multiple things at one time. And I know like sometimes in life we kind of have to, but where it requires my attention, like I just don't want to do it anymore.
Well, you don't have the fucking like the baby in the arm, the fucking dog on the leash, and the fucking stroller or whatever.
But that's,
you know?
like that's life multitasking.
Yeah.
Like no problem, right? Because that's like keeping kids alive and doing some shit, right? This is like I'm gonna do this spreadsheet while I call this person and finalize the schedule and like do all this stuff that I do now and I try to do all the time. Like I'm editing this podcast while writing this schedule while looking at my next week, and I get so overwhelmed by the time I just flip screens that it sends me into a point where I have to shut everything down, take a step back, and sometimes meditate, and then go back and do a single thing.
Do you think that like your brain was able to multitask in a workspace because it was separate from your personal space? And now that your work and personal are in the same space, it's like colliding. So it's because like when I'm multitasking at work, I don't have a lot of emotional. I mean, I obviously do have emotional
you're just
connections.
so fucking emotionally attached to those Kumamotos.
Right? Yeah. Like it's like it's not my it's not my bottom line.
You're not taking the shit home.
I'm not. I'm not
it.
taking it home. So I'm like, I don't have an emotional attachment to the task because they directly affect me in my day-to-day work life, but it's not like my existence.
Yeah.
But if this is now your personal and your work and you're emotionally invested, all of these tasks now have a weight that they didn't have before. Now there's an anxiety attached to them. Like if I don't get this done, it's on me, or if I don't get this done correctly, it's on me, or if I don't do it in the right time, like there's no one to delegate anymore. There's like, or not even that, just like having it attached to your self-worth. At least that's how I felt when I had my own business. It was a direct reflection of how well I was doing.
Right, yeah.
So that's why I like being at a job that I'm not responsible for, because I'm just like, oh, I can just do this thing and be mindless about it.
Yeah.
So that might be why.
No, I definitely there's modicums of that too. You know, it's all me now.
Yeah.
Right? There's no other thing that I can do, or I can do, but there's like, this is me generating my revenue, me generating my
especially
ideas.
Now, because you know, it's been, you know, and again, it's kudos to you, and you've worked your ass off to get to this point, but it's again, I don't know, and we don't iron into it, and it's none of my business, but it doesn't seem like you're in this part where it's, you know, as like, okay, you know, I'm a couple weeks away from fucking making a couple calls and doing some banquets and some shit. Like,
totally.
Like it's not dire.
And we're now at a point now where it's like you can say no. And I remember I was talking to you about that, and that's the fucking hardest thing is like, I don't know if I'd ever be able to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, see, and that ability to say no was a big step for me. But so to just deepen the answer to your question, Kinsey, so one of the practices I've been trying to do is, okay, so like just a stupid example. When I go to bed, I set my alarm for whatever time, and then I'll lay down, and then like a minute later I'll get up and I'll check my alarm to make sure I set it. And then I'll go back to bed and I'll go back and like 2 minutes. I'll do it like 2 or 3 times, right? And I've done it for years, right? Even before I quit restaurantship.
Yeah.
But like a few months ago, maybe about a year or so ago, like I was like, why? It just annoyed me for some reason. I'm like, why am I doing that? And I just had a moment to sit there and think, and I'm like, well, I don't know why, but the underlying meaning for me that I do that is I don't trust myself. why don't I trust myself?
You've given no reason to kind of, at this point, your track record is, it's just kind of like people, this back to restaurant cynical person in me is like, no, they've shown you who they are. This is kind of par for the course.
Yeah. So with myself, like, I have fucked up, but I will fuck up again, right?
Of course.
Totally,
you're going to make more mistakes.
But I've got a good feeling of a track record of myself that I can trust myself. So, like, why am I not trusting myself in that way?
Yeah.
And so it comes back to that, like, you know, there's this lack of trust. And so I've got to figure out a better way to trust myself, to trust that I am going to have the right kind of revenue, that I will get back to the emails that I need to get back to. Like, I've got 20 years of experience of somebody breathing down my neck, making sure I got that shit done, right?
Yeah.
Whether in a very helpful coaching way or in a very dickish fucking way, right? And so, like, again, like I've proven to myself that I can do this, and so I just got to lean into that a little bit more. So when I have those moments, it's that opportunity to look back and be like, no, like, trust yourself. And even like decisions too. Like, there's so many times now where I'll have made a decision to do something, and it might be a risky decision, and then all of a sudden the time comes up where the decision either manifests or something like a repercussion from the decision, and I'll, you know, try to beat myself up, and I'm like, no, like, there's a rational human being that very, very recently made the decision to do this and knew the consequences. So, like, okay, now here's your learning opportunity from that. Not, oh, I shouldn't have done that thing, I shouldn't have invested in that, or I shouldn't have blah blah blah. It's like, okay, cool, well, that is a way to think about it. And I have thought about it like that so much, but it doesn't get me fucking anywhere but just self-deprecating.
You can, there's a certain point in which kind of kicking yourself in the dick, for lack of a better term.
100%.
For lack of a better term.
Yeah, I'm not sure there really exists a better term. I'm not sure. Not in the, well, again, the patriarchy fucking created this term.
I'm just a better term. Kicking yourself in the dick.
But I mean, that's deep.
That was great.
That is good.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, that can serve as motivation, but after a certain point, I'm always, like, having to remind people, I'm like, you know, don't rake yourself over the fucking coals here.
Yeah.
Like, if feeling the heat will, you know, maybe so you don't do it again or maybe do it differently, fine. But then just, like, fucking raking you over to make sure you really fucking feel the heat isn't going to do anyone any good.
Oh, I'm an expert at that. Like, I burn my hand on the stove and then just lay it on there for another
saute.
5 minutes.
Just turn the heat down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You fucking dumb bitch.
Fucking Tyler Durden over there with the soap. Shit.
Fucking hell, man. Well, I think, like...
You know what lives rent-free in my brain, besides all the other shit about Tracy Chapman and Christopher Cross, is the fucking... Your fucking darkness retreat in which you just sang Metallica 1 to yourself. Like, darkness. I think of that probably like 3 or 4 times a week.
I forgot to tell you this.
Nothing about the retreat, just that Metallica.
Just alone in the darkness.
I was like, wow, okay.
I went to that Korn concert. And
you went to Korn.
Yeah. And they played Metallica 1.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I was like, I was really, really drunk, and so I forgot. But I was like, I have to tell Adam this. And then I completely forgot.
Wow. How was Korn? How did Korn sound?
It was actually pretty fucking good. All I really wanted to hear was Blind.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to hear.
Song.
Apparently, it's been 20 years since they played it. And they played it.
Why are they
set list,
like
huh?
they said before they played it that, like, it's been just so and so amount of years we don't play this at shows anymore or whatever, for whatever reason.
They're doing it on this tour.
Yeah, but they're doing it. And so I got to hear all the songs that I knew, which were 4 of them.
Chutes and Ladders. He played the bagpipes.
Yeah, yep. He played the bagpipes.
yeah,
He did Metallica 1. He did, obviously, Freak on a Leash. He did the You Want a Fucking Single one.
Did you do Adidas?
Oh,
Adidas.
how's that one go?
All day I dream about sex. All day I dream about
I don't think they did that one.
It's on, like, first album
That's
or something.
on Life is Peachy, the second.
What was really a bummer for me is because in my brain, I was going to a Korn concert in 2002.
That would have been a lot more fun.
And I walked in and I go, why is nobody losing their mind in the mosh pit? It's a Korn concert. And I go, and I looked around and I was like,
these motherfuckers are 40.
because I started headbanging a little bit and then I got dizzy and my neck started to hurt. Yeah. And I was like, everyone here is my age or older.
All wearing sweatshirts and
God
shit, hiding their body.
God bless him. He kept saying, he's like, get the fuck up, Seattle, blah, blah, blah. And you could just see everyone but we're trying.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Like, well, dude, okay, let's...
It was either people my age or older. We had really, really young Gen Zs there.
Where was that again?
Tacoma Dome.
Oh, I hate
Oh,
Tito's.
Yeah, and
terrible
I fucking
venue.
hate that venue. We had pretty good seats. But like, I mean, everyone was really enjoying the show, but I just looked around and everyone looked like they were at Hot Topic 20 years ago.
Fuck yeah.
And we were all headbanging, and then you'd find
Now
them
you have to go
stopping,
to
and then we were all
Spencer's.
walking out talking about it. And they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna feel that tomorrow."
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
Christ.
"This is the Korn concert that I went to.
Oh
We're
my
all
gosh.
old now. It was wild."
Korn.
You see, like, spent packs of Depends on
Well,
the
I
side
was
of the
just
road
like
and
really
shit.
upset about these young people not moshing out. I was like, "How dare you? This is Korn." Like, I'm not even a huge Korn fan, but I was like,
No,
respect.
nobody,
you know, they're
nobody
fucking
really
legends.
is anymore.
And then I just realized there are no young kids down there. Like
Yeah.
there's maybe 20 of them down there, but they're all in their 40s.
Wow, so they haven't been playing Blind live.
That's interesting.
I find that like to be like everyone just being like they didn't fucking play
Play
Blind.
Blind?
Like literally, I am
Yeah.
amazed.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
granted,
like
my
not playing Freak
when
on a
my
Leash
buddy
at a
saw
show.
Korn, it was 20 years ago, so I'm
Right.
assuming they did. But it's just
Yeah.
like, wow, that's
I've seen them twice, and they...
holy shit. I've
You've
seen
seen
them
Korn twice?
Yeah. Dude, I grew up in the 90s, man. We had festivals coming through all the
man,
time.
you
Oh, okay.
I've seen
So
Limp
not
Bizkit,
cool.
Not
I've
recently.
seen, like... No, not recently.
Oh, okay.
but-
I've
in my
seen
brain.
Limp Bizkit.
Dude, no, seriously, like, there's just
I've
festivals
seen
that came
Korn
through.
Yeah.
twice.
Like, I've seen Smash Mouth. I've seen, like, a lot of shitty bands. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen really shitty bands. I've seen really good bands. I've seen Alice in Chains, like, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that would be in the good category. You saw
But that's-
Smash Mouth.
Yeah,
Smash
when
Mouth.
Lane was still alive, I saw Alice in Chains.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but like, yeah, all these festivals, like we were in the 90s in our area, we had a big enough venue. It was almost the size of the Gorge, but not the Drive, right? And in our area, and it was the major Houston venue, and so like
Yeah.
every
Weather
band would
too,
come
you
through
can just fucking book
year
that.
round. You know, they'd have
Yeah.
year round band like September. You go see fucking like Nirvana or something.
Go
you
see
know? Like,
Korn.
it's crazy.
Seen
Korn.
Korn
It was
twice.
a great show.
Did you really think that motherfucker was gonna
No,
dust that off?
no.
I mean, again, I'm proud of my Creed
Yeah,
bands,
Counting
but
that
Crows,
is
you
that's
know?
pretty
I've seen
impressive.
Counting
Creed,
Crows.
I've
I've
seen
seen
Creed,
Counting
yeah,
Crows. I've seen
totally.
Counting Crows actually. I've seen him. I had an opportunity to see him again, but I got a migraine and left the show early. I'm not even. That's some old people
I
shit.
got a migraine.
Dude,
I
okay,
did.
So the first time I saw Counting Crows,
Mr. Jones.
it was 98 or 99. It was in Dallas.
peak.
And it was Texas
We're
Motor
covering the
Speedway.
satellites.
It was called Rockfest.
Ooh,
And it was
mislabeled.
Alice in Chains. It was like a metal fest more or less. I think it was like Chains, Metallica, Buck Cherry, you know, like
God.
there's some of those 90s staples, you know,
Yeah,
like the
Buck Cherry.
pop rock shit. And it's like all these metal bands, and we're there. It took us almost. So we got to Dallas, which is a 4-hour drive, and then it took us another 4 hours to drive a half an hour because there was that many people there. It was at Texas Motor Speedway, a couple hundred
Oh
thousand people, right?
God! Oh fuck!
And like all through the day, Texas
That's like 4 or
heat,
5 stages
it's like-
kind of shit.
Oh yeah, totally,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
July heat, people
Oh,
are
God.
fucking
Yeah,
passing
it's
out.
just
It's fucking
fucking-
hot as
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
You're
So by the
not
time-
rocking sleeves in
No.
that. No.
No.
I'd let the puppies out.
Like
for that one.
I was covered in mud, and I don't even mosh, right? Like
Yeah.
I had footprints all over me
Oh
and
my
shit.
God.
And so I think it was around like 6:00, and the sun's just starting to go down, and Alice in Chains just went off, and it was like Guns N' Roses, like it was like a fucking show. It was
shit.
great, and and then all of a sudden it's like. Next on the stage, Counting Crows, and everybody's like, huh? What the fuck? Like, and they were on the bill, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I like the Counting Crows, but it's just like Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, Metallica,
Counting Crows.
Crows, yeah.
And but my God, was that one of the best fucking sets I've ever seen?
I saw him open
Adam,
for the
Wow.
Who.
he comes out with
Adam
it
Duritz.
just on his piano, and takes the vibe from this like crazy mosh pit vibe to like just brings it down to indie vibe, and everybody was down with it, right? It was just like this cool shift, and like the sun went down, and it went like
Counting
into this
Crows.
like cool mellow vibe. It was fucking cool. I really dug it.
Who came after them? Do you remember?
Guar or
I think
some
Buck,
shit.
no, I think Buck Cherry, and then there was
Stained.
one other band.
Fucking
after
Stained.
that.
Fucking Stain.
No, it was a bigger band. I don't remember who it was.
So
it
was
was one of
Korn the
headliners.
headliner at this?
Yeah.
And then who was the opener? Some
I don't know.
people
We,
fucking,
we,
yeah.
we walked in at exactly the right time. We got there, walked to our seats. 5
Fucking
minutes
old
later, they
people
came
shit.
on.
Like
oh,
we
yeah.
skip all the
Just-
fucking
I had
openers.
no care
leave
about
before the
any of
last
the
song. I leave
openers.
during the encores all the fucking time. Like I don't give a fucking shit. I don't
Well,
need to
as
hear
soon
this
as they
song.
played Blind, I'm looking around like,
Yeah,
I'm good. You
yeah,
guys good?
exactly.
Car's
Box
good.
is checked.
It's
Yeah,
Tacoma Dome. It's going to be a bitch to get
Yeah,
out of here.
dude,
You good to
seriously.
go? All right, y'all
Yeah,
want
you
to
just
stay?
hope
All
you hope
right,
they
all
play
right.
that like the 5th song, so you don't
Yeah.
leave after.
I was like, oh,
Silence.
they haven't played Freak on a Leash yet. I guess we should stay.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing I loved about it, 90 minutes start to finish, right on fucking.
Yeah.
Started on time, ended
Right
on
up.
time. They were out. one encore, I think, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Like, we want to be done. You guys got places to be.
Yeah.
We're all
It was,
good
yeah,
here.
it was great.
Jonathan Davis.
Yeah.
He's wearing his track jacket, his Adidas shit.
Yeah, I think he was, and he had the microphone stand.
The mic stand. I love his mic stand.
Yeah,
the like aliens kind of looking thing.
Yeah.
Like
razor
oh yeah, he has
like
a weird
it's like a lady,
fucking like
but also razor blades or whatever.
He's like, yeah, if like a guitarist can have a custom guitar, I can have a custom mic stand.
Yeah.
That's basically his instrument.
Well, it's his
voice.
Stevie Nicks, Steven Tyler calling card.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Steven Tyler.
Yeah. It's his scarves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I miss Steven Tyler.
I don't.
Yeah.
They weren't that good.
Yeah. I
Get
never,
a Grip was a big deal when I was 9.
I had friends adjacently into Aerosmith,
Yeah.
big ones and shit like that.
Big ones, big ones.
Big ones.
The best of.
And I would listen to him, and I got nothing against Aerosmith, but it was never a band that I was like, oh, fucking Aerosmith.
It was
man.
Aaron. Aaron was big into big ones. Wasn't
No,
he?
no,
Yeah,
Aaron wasn't an Aerosmith guy. Aaron was big into Chains. Aaron was a big metal guy,
Fucking
like
into
Nirvana,
big ones.
Chains.
There was a small time period where Aerosmith was actually like a cool band,
Sweet
and then it
Emotions is
became
cool.
very mainstream, and then it's like
Their biggest hit was that "Don't Want to Miss a Thing," and that
yeah,
was,
that's
that
what I
was
mean.
fucking
Like,
crazy.
like you go from like the beginning of Aerosmith, which is like a great rock band, and then
Yeah.
I Don't Want to Miss a Thing, where it feels like they kind of are just like everyone's mom's favorite band that you
Well,
play
I
at
mean,
Big Lots
fucking
or whatever.
Ragdoll. I mean, there's a lot of shitty songs in
Yeah.
the middle there. Like,
Yeah.
Janie's Got a Gun.
well,
Crazy was the best
That's a
one
great
because
song.
that music
Alicia
video,
Silverstone?
that
Yeah, dude. Again,
video
Get a Grip was the
great.
shit.
That was a
Get a
good
Grip
one.
was the shit in
Good one.
'93.
Yeah.
well, okay. So
Big
what?
ones.
What do you
Yeah,
guys think about? Okay, so there's people have been like mimicking other popular genres or popular musicians for a long time, right? You could say Eddie Vedder, right? There's Crash Test Dummies. There's like all these other deep
Crash Test
shit like
Dummies.
that, right? But okay, so there's been a lot of bands. I shouldn't say a lot, but there's at least 2 bands I could think of. One's Greta Van Fleet, and the other one's called like the Fool Band or something like that.
Greta Van Fleet.
But both have a very Zeppelin-esque type of approach.
Robert
Van
Plant.
Fleet
Robert
is
Plant even
Zeppelin.
referred to him. He's like, "Oh, it's that band that sounds like me."
Right?
Yeah.
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 But in a good way. I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
I
No,
think-
he's
yeah.
not. He's not really coming. Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
It's kind of insane how his voice is like.
it's
Sounds like a reincarnation.
good. But so, and they're getting a lot of shit. You know, some haters out there, like, oh, you're just ripping off this sound. But
So is everyone fucking else.
they've been, I mean, Zeppelin hasn't made new music for fucking at least 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 40 years, if not more, right? So, like,
yeah.
why can't other musicians that have a similar sound take
No,
those
distorted
kind of, like,
Les Paul is only for Jimmy Page.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so I champion that shit. And it's not like they're mimicking Led Zeppelin.
No.
They're using a similar style. They're similar
Well, there's-
song structure.
Well, there's a lot of bands where it's like, okay, I get it, dude. You're wearing bell bottoms. You all got long hair and fucking
Right.
beards and
Yeah.
shit. I get it.
Message
Like,
received.
yeah, like 72 rock and roll.
Yeah.
This
Yep,
is, you know,
totally.
fucking as someone who have rather been raised in 72.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but
Yeah.
it seems a bit like
Well, for somebody like yourself, you made the comment earlier, Robin, that it was made after 2005. But you're a big classic rock guy.
Yeah.
You love that. So would that be a genre or a band that you could maybe potentially listen to, having deep roots with Zeppelin and appreciation?
Greta Van
for-
Fleet.
Yeah, like Greta-
I always thought they kicked ass. I mean,
Okay.
I don't really listen to a lot of that, but I was like, oh, this shit's not bad.
Yeah, right.
Heat Above.
It
Great
come-
track.
Okay.
Comes across as like it'll usually end up on my Spotify, and I'm like, who the fuck is this? This was recorded recently
Yeah,
enough.
yeah, right. Yeah.
That's usually what happens.
right on. Yeah, it's
It's never by choice.
Okay.
Never by
Okay.
choice. No.
Yeah.
Set a filter on Spotify. 2005, because we all know that was a great year. Probably The Game came out with an album.
The game.
Yeah, so, I think 2004 is when
Speaker Box,
and Love
Speaker
Box,
came out.
yeah.
Yeah, which got a lot of shit, but I liked both those albums.
That was shit.
Yeah. What I think, the Speaker Box, or Love Below, I should say, is a good example of one of those albums that, like, not to say it was a unique album, but
Did
to
you
be
go
fair,
to that show, the Andre show?
No, I was going to, but I ended up booking an event that night. But as much praise as Andre got for Speaker Box Love Below, to be fair, and this is just one example, but CeeLo was making music like that way before Andre did, right? CeeLo Green is a Soul Machine was his first solo album.
That red cover with him like that. Yeah, there's some trippy shit on that.
Great shit. Closet Freak is a fucking great fucking track, right? Yeah. Totally different than hip hop, right? And then CeeLo Green and His Perfect Imperfections, I think, also came out before Speaker Box and Let Below. But both were very unique, you know, from a hip hop artist, but moving away from hip hop as that main genre.
He can go to the mailbox because of Gnarls Barkley, though.
Yeah. Well, he got a lot of yeah. Gnarls Barkley was dope. So it was interesting. I was working at Jillian's during.
Is that him and Danger Mouse?
Is that
who that was?
Mouse, yeah. And it sucks because CeeLo's got, you know, he's done some shitty things apparently that have come to light. Some like drugging.
It's sad that my immediate reaction is, oh, who hasn't? It's like that's not Robin. That's your gut reaction.
Normalized.
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
And I don't know enough about the situations to have an opinion about it. But
I can't keep up.
I know exactly, and that's part of it. It's like I can't fucking keep up with this shit. But I'm not saying one thing or the other. If you have an opinion about it and you've done your research, fucking good on you.
Call in.
Yeah, call in.
Lines are open.
But Gnarls Barkley, fucking hell, man, that album, for some reason, it was like the back end of the LimeWire age, right? There was still a lot of streaming going on.
Fucking
so I bootlegged that entire album.
Elsewhere.
Saying Elsewhere. Ooh. I've got mixes of that album that aren't on the actual album.
Thank God for LimeWire.
It was fucking cool because I remember when the album came out, I'm like, that's not the way I've heard that song, and I go back and listen to it, I'm like, oh, this is an unreleased version of this song.
Like when
Holy
your buddy
shit.
makes you a classic rock LimeWire collection and it's all Led Zeppelin and it's fucking Aerosmith and Pink Floyd and shit. Yeah.
Dude, actually, I was thinking about that the other day. I used to get so annoyed with LimeWire because I would like go on there looking for specific artists like Outkast. Like I love Outkast. And I thought I would go in there and be like try to find all the remixes or all like the guest spots that they did. And so I would see an album or a track called like Fish and Grits and I'm like, yes, cool. That's not one of their songs, and I download it, and it's like they named it after the hook. If you like Fish and Grits and all the pimp shit, then everybody, throw your hands in the air. I'm like, God damn it, you just mislabeled the track, and I spent 4 days downloading this fucking song.
Yeah, exactly. Very few seaters for a lot of these remixes.
Fucking bullshit. But like single tasking, and it's funny because we all worked at Red Hook, and were you guys there when we did the single tasking advertising campaign for Kona?
I was there for Kona. What was the single test?
So Kona was the first brand that Red Hook CBA decided to do a television campaign for.
Yeah, I remember that with the two Hawaiian dudes.
Yeah. And so like one of the commercials they did was them sitting on a beach drinking their Konas and talking about how like everybody's talking about multitasking. Yeah, screw that, single tasking. And they open their beer and they just drink their beer.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is dumb. I don't fucking whatever. But that idea has like permeated deeply into me, and like I am so resistant now to wanting to try to multitask. And it's so funny because like Kinsey and I were talking before Robin got here about like, you know, the things we manifest in the world. You know, we manifest our realities. And as like I you know find myself frustrated with this multitasking idea and just like my inabilities at first, it was like, why can't I do this anymore? Like I used to be really good at this, but now it's like the information that I'm reading, it's, you know, like how much time it takes for you to change your brain's ability to go from one task to another, right? So let's say I'm even on my phone and I'm like answering emails on my phone, and then I get a text message and I just switch over just the app from my phone, right? I'm still on the same device. Just switched. It takes 20 seconds for your brain to actually adjust, and then for you to go back to what you were doing takes almost 20 minutes worth of time for you to actually get back in that brain space.
So maybe it's not that you're not capable of multitasking anymore. Your brain is revolting and being like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Exactly it.
I'm going to make it really hard for you until you get the fucking message that we're going to do one thing at a time and that's going to be okay. And you feel like it's wrong and you can't do it because we've been programmed to like, because I feel like if I'm not doing 3 things at once, I'm wasting my time focusing on one thing because I'm not going to get these other things done at the same time when I could, if I applied myself, get 3 things done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's such a beautiful thing because
Your
like
brain's protesting.
There's okay, so I've been meditating for almost a decade now, over a decade now, right? And pretty solid meditation practice. That all being said, like there's oh, right.
Yeah.
This sounds weird, and we all live our own experiences in life, and this is my only way to talk about it. So, but there's times now where I think I can hear my subconscious, like I can hear the chatter that I'm not supposed to hear, and it's very interesting because it's almost an argument at times from like this old pattern of thinking to this new like more like quiet, calmer, rational version of myself, almost coddling this other part of me, and sometimes giving in because it's like that's all it knows, and it throws this temper tantrum, and so this other part of me is like, okay, fine, but we know we're going to come back to this. But it's like this constant conversation I can hear now, in my own head, and it's kind of terrifying at times.
Is it both your voice, like is it an inner monologue kind of thing?
It's not both my voice. It is both my voice, but it's not. Like, I know it's me. I know it's me. It's not like, the devil on the left and the angel on the right, or like, Jim Bob and fucking Frank over here.
Deliciously?
Exactly, right? Yeah. So I know it's versions of myself that are having this conversation, but it's just, it took me a while to like be okay with paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Because for a long time, I don't almost put my fingers in my ears, like, I don't hear this. I don't hear this.
Yeah. Well, I have arguments in my brain all the time. So I'm just wondering like what's the different feeling?
So, yeah. So I've had the arguments in my brain, but like it's okay. So this is where it gets weird. Like the arguments in my brain, I know I'm a part of.
Oh, okay.
It's like I'm eavesdropping on something.
Got it.
It's like I'm eavesdropping on something.
Ooh, it's spooky.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it like rationalize that as all you want, right? But it's a
like
weird
Shining, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird because sometimes it's like it makes me feel kind of scared. Like, am I going insane?
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, but maybe that's kind of like maybe I'm supposed to be paying attention. Like, am I? This goes back to that neurodivergent, neurotypical kind of conversation we had a while back. Like, is neurotypical really typical, or is it just the way that capitalism accepts this brainwave accepts capitalism, so we can step on our friends, right? And is neurodivergence the way that we all look at, neurospicy folks is like, you're weird, you're strange.
Neurospicy folks.
I love that term. If it's offensive, I apologize. I like that one.
Okay, give us a call if you disagree with the term neurospicy.
Yeah, write into robingrether@gmail.com. But so is it like, have I been resisting normal humanity to conform into something where if I just accept the quote unquote insanity, that it would just feel like a little warmer of a blanket?
Well, it's not even like insanity. It's like maybe what your true self is, but we've just been conditioned to either quiet
fucking talks to themselves, man.
Yeah.
No, they don't. That 60% of people don't have an inner monologue.
No, I'm saying
they're fucking weird.
60%.
Well, no, but I'm saying even just an owl, fine. Maybe I'm a fucking gonzo, but like an outward monologue would be like, okay, you're just freaking out, or like if you're doing some weird driving where you're like,
I talk to myself in the car. Like, everything's fine. You got this. You're good. You're good. I talk to myself all the time.
I mean, we're
outwardly and inwardly.
Yeah. So that's some kind of
that's actually interesting.
For Cocoa Puff shit.
I'll have to look and see if there's a
very delicate there.
Well, I mean, I shared my story about like making fun of a coworker that was doing that in a parking garage one time, and like I had that conversation. Did I talk to you guys about that?
No. Like a pep talk?
Yeah. And it's something that I've circled back with Harper, a couple times with too, because like I now know that's very healthy to talk to yourself and to comfort yourself and to say it's okay. Like we're here for ourselves. It's as much support as we have in life. Like, not we're all we got, but we're the closest thing that we have, right? So it's like, how do we figure that shit out? But I think that like, I don't know, it's like I kind of feel like I'm willingly going insane, but it's not the definition of insane that is widely accepted. I think it's more of like I'm willingly stepping away from what we deem as sane.
Well, I mean, I think 7 grams of shrooms will do that too. There, home dog. Like you've done some deep dives and some shit. I'm like, wow, that's easily double what I deemed way too fucking much, huh? Okay, double that.
Yeah, I've been
Well,
called.
I think it probably feels crazy when like it's just been the norm to be living in the Matrix, and then all of a sudden you decided that you don't want to keep living this. I feel like probably a lot of weird feeling things would come up because it's not what we've deemed as natural as a society, but who's been telling us what's natural and what's not, and why have they been telling us what's natural and what's not?
Well, and it's also interesting too, like we're in a time in this world now where I can actually, not just me, but we can actually look at life differently and start to approach, these different esoteric ways of life. Like, I'm going to remove myself from capitalism in the United States, right? Yeah. Still got to be a part of it, but still, like, I'm not going to participate in it full ways. Like, that's almost like a privilege we couldn't have had that like 100 years ago, right? 50 years ago. We could.
Well, you could have. It just wouldn't have been comfortable.
Well, right. It's not as widely accepted, right? And I think that's a very interesting place to be in too, where it's almost like we've in a like a zoom out, objective observer kind of way. We've succeeded enough as a human race to create a society that's sustainable enough to let a mass amount of that population step away and focus on their individualism now.
To have a choice to do
that, right? Whereas before, it's like if you were an individual, you were kind of an outcast because we needed you to be part of this group because we had buildings to build, roads to fucking put up.
The men are at war. We need you at the factory.
And even if that wasn't directly, verbatim, it's like that was the mentality.
Yeah.
But now even though there's still a lot of work to do, we have no idea what, but like there's still a lot of work to do, but like we can be more individualistic now. We can say like, I want to have a mohawk, or I want to listen to the voice inside of me that tells me that I'm not actually the gender that I'm born as, and actually be able to explore that in a little bit more of a safer way.
Also, just like practicing self-care. Like if you had pulled that in the 50s, they'd have been like, jail, straight to jail.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
totally. Overcooked fish.
Yeah.
Straight to undercooked chicken.
Oh yeah. So, it's interesting just to see like, so as we witness this sway towards more of the individual and the ability to explore the individual, as the pendulum always does swing, is it going to swing too far that way in the individual, and society starts to get a little bit
the thing is
crumbly.
I think the more that you focus on the individual, it will benefit the whole. Because when people take care of themselves, they want to be a part of a community. They have more time and energy and less anger and more open-mindedness. Like, so I feel like it only benefits the whole to focus on the self.
Yeah.
Because when you're not focusing on the self, no one's winning.
But we also need people to pick up trash and stuff. We can't just all go finger painting, I guess, is also the
no.
point.
Yeah, not saying that. Yeah, for sure. No, just being like taking care of self in the sense of like providing what each person needs individually. So like I can go still like there are times where I'm like I just want to take staples out of a paper as my job.
Still the best
and
story.
Nobody else wants to do this, but for me this works right now. And like maybe picking up trash, I don't really mind that. Like there are people that are willing to do all kinds of jobs, but like if you're not willing to do a job and you're being forced to do it and you're like don't have a choice, that's like a different scenario. Yeah. So like I was contemplating being a soil specialist at a human composting place because that doesn't sound that bad to me. Like, and I see benefits in it that maybe other people couldn't. I have capabilities, like I can be around that stuff. Other people couldn't. So like, it's all like subjective. Right. But if I'm taking care of myself and I'm happy to do this thing because I see how it benefits society, I'm happy to go around and pick up trash because I don't want to live in a place that has trash everywhere or something like that. Yeah. But if that's why you're making the decision, that's going to make your ability and you're going to feel better about doing it rather than like, this is your only choice. You're not good enough to do this. You're the only thing that you can do is this job because you're a lesser than. Like that's a different vibe, I guess.
Now, admittedly, I don't think the vetting process for the staple removing job was too thorough.
Let me tell you, it was zero. It was absolute zero. There was no vetting.
What brings you here? Be like, I've been a fan of paper clips and brad clips for
been
bonding
really
documents
passionate.
for fucking years.
Yeah.
Like those brads, are those what those called?
Brads, totally. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Much more
Precise.
efficient. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the precision.
Fucking hate staples. I fucking hate them.
But I feel like that would be somebody's worst job ever, to be stuck in a windowless basement.
I love how much you love that. For
Oh,
given
I loved it.
outgoing you are, or how I know you. Well, again, air quote outgoing.
Right.
Yeah, no. I love it.
Fucking
It was
so awesome.
It was great.
Couldn't pick those people out of a lineup.
No.
Worked with them for 2 weeks. Just seriously, like you need to be able to describe both of these
If you
people
ask
to
me,
save your...
I was the only employee there.
Right.
Yeah, I was the only one.
There's so I don't really understand. I'm trying to understand about Bitcoin and shit, you know. Like, and I don't like. I'm not an advocate or one way or the other, but like, it's just interesting, right? It's new currency that's like coming out as a worldwide
You're
thing,
a
right?
crypto bro.
No. It's just interesting.
Well, yeah.
I still, it's like quantum physics. Like, I really don't understand it, but there's parts of it that I
No
kinda
matter
do.
how many times it's explained to me, I still can't wrap my brain
blockchain.
around it. Yeah,
Like,
got it.
right.
NFT, nope.
Yep,
I'm
totally.
done. Yep.
So there's a piece of it that I like. So not knowing the actual way that it works, but one of the applications for Bitcoin that this person I heard. It's actually been years since I've heard this podcast, or this person talk, but. One of the things that they talked about was, so to your point, Robin, about like people still need to pick up trash on the road or, things like that. So with this person was talking about, like, say with Bitcoin, right? And so say you walk into your local plaza, right? And like over here, it's like kind of trashy, right? Okay, so as a person walking by, I'm going to throw like 100 Bitcoins, whatever that value is, but I'm going to throw 100 Bitcoins to somebody cleaning the plaza. So there's like a bank opened up that says, hey, there's this much money for somebody to clean the plaza. So, right. So, and that tree over there needs a little bit more water. So I'm going to throw some money at that tree. Right. And you can just do that, like walking through. This is like one of those hypotheticals. Right. And let's say like, there's a unhoused person that's got a sign, and all of a sudden they just check the center cleaning budget that's up for the cleaning the square, and it's like, oh, that's $50. It's like, oh fuck, I'll do that. And like, so that person will get up, clean up all the stuff, and like prove that it happened, and then that person will get $50, right? So like there's ways that like the Bitcoin idea can be put towards the community, and then somebody within that community can be like, oh well, I can do that. Hey, there's $20 to water that tree. I'll water that tree. I can do that, right? And then go water that tree, and then so it kind of creates an opportunity for jobs to be had without a job to be had.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things that's happened in this time in this life that kind of did that was the Lime scooters, right? So as Lime scooters got negligently put into cities, which is really fun to read and to watch documentaries about, but as they were put into cities, especially in places like California, a lot of the beach bums now gather up those Lime bikes, take them to public areas, charge them. There's an app for the Lime bike saying, like, if you charge this bike, then you get this much money.
Yeah.
So all these beach bums are basically going around picking up all the Lime bikes, going to public places, charging them, and then making money off that. And so they've created a job market basically for unhoused people or people that like to live on the beaches.
Or just like, same with like as DoorDash or whatever. Like it's just like, oh, I can pick up and stop doing DoorDash whenever I want. Like, oh, I got 30 minutes. I need an extra $50. Let me see how much I can make or whatever. And it doesn't even have to be like you need to be in a special monetary bracket for it because like I did it.
You're in downtown. Have you used that guy Tony Delivers? Do you know what I'm talking
No.
about? Do you know it? Oh well.
No,
there's
I
like a
don't know
specific.
So there was a guy when the Seattle did that surcharge thing, and I know I think they dialed it back because people got pissed off.
That was huge,
he started his own thing with his own platform and
Oh,
shit.
shit.
And he's just like, I charge $5 flat or some shit if you're within this map in Seattle.
Oh shit! I'm gonna look him up.
He's actually I think he's gotten way bigger now.
Oh
But
yes.
yeah, I think it's called Tony Delivers.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check that out. Sweet.
And that's as scary as
He's got people working for him now.
Oh,
I think.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, not that particular example, but like the decentralization of work is so fucking cool to me. Like, it's like, why do we have to have a big conglomerate? Like, there's actually to that point too. I want to say this guy's name is Mike, but he created the Bank of Mike. The Bank of Mike. Like, he's just a dude that had some extra cash, and so he's like started loaning money to his friends at very, very low interest rates, if not zero. and he has never been stiffed. He's always been paid back, and he's helped out so many people. And it's a very independent. He's not FDIC, none of that shit.
Yeah.
But he loans out money all the time, and he's like the Bank of Mike. He barely charges any interest rate. He's never been fucked over.
That scene on Yes Man where he gives all the fucking loans, and it's all like, I need to buy a new blender and some shit. And he like actually makes more money than the big loans.
Yep, totally. Right. You know, and it's that different way to look at life. Like, we've just been characterizingly telling people
this is the only way to do work. This is the only way to make money. This is the only way to, be successful.
I used to like feel weird about like if I asked somebody like that worked at a place and I needed like a favor, like, hey, we're closed, or hey, can you go look in the back, or it's like, no. But could you, right? Because I think what I like just took for granted I wasn't confident enough to like say something to the no, but what I think I realize now is like generic responses, like that person's just generically programmed to have that response, and so maybe they don't even realize they said no.
Yeah.
Can you go look in the back for that 2% yogurt that I really like? No, sorry, we're closing.
Also, they don't get paid enough for it.
Right.
So, no, I'm not going to do anything extra because I don't get anything on the back end. I'm treated like shit as it is. That's how I feel at the end of his shift.
Totally.
So when someone walks in at 8:58 and we close at 9, could you just, no.
No, but this isn't that situation.
But,
no,
or just like, I could,
totally,
but I'm not gonna.
But see, and this is where like I think the follow up, and this is where I'm kind of going with this, is like this is not like the 8:59. I'm walking in as you're walking out. I'm putting you in a precarious situation.
Did you just mislead us on the previous cast?
No. This is literally like just asking a question of a person that works at a place, right?
Got it.
Because like most of the time I will bite the bullet. I will figure it out myself.
Like
right?
being open and just being like, hey, do you have any extras in the back? No, and I'm not gonna go check.
You ever
kind of a
watch
thing.
the show Dave?
Okay. Yeah, Dave.
So it's Lil Dicky. It's on Comedy Central or some shit, but he's at the grocery store, the drugstore, whatever, and he presses that button to ask for help to like let into a case, but he doesn't need to be let in case. He's just got a question about body wash.
Okay.
And the guy's just like, what the fuck am I doing here? How could it be a shampoo, a conditioner, and a body wash? I feel like it can't be all three. And it's like, that's a fucking good point. I never understood that.
Well, it's all soap when you break it down. It's like milk that's good for 2 months now.
The only ones that do that are men's products.
Yeah, I could see
there are no, other than like Bonners, maybe.
Bonners, not boners?
Is it Bonners? Dr. Bonners?
Oh, Boner.
It Boner.
It's Dr. Boner?
Oh, that's what I just...
Boner.
Patriarchy.
I always thought it was Dr. Bonner's. Yeah, like I don't think I've ever come across a marketed 3-in-1 marketed for women.
Shampoo, conditioner, and body wash.
No,
it's like it's
women
all three.
Would never.
Like
women would never.
I don't understand.
And it's a bar.
Yeah, it's a bar. No. That's just soap, my gay.
Oh my god. All right. Well, anything else on single tasking or?
I don't know. I hope to someday be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Without guilting ourselves for it.
Gonna fucking at every job interview, I'm gonna sell my ability to not do that.
Yeah.
I'm actually
so like that's the irony right there.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine just the other day send me one of his tests, like a aptitude test. He created for one of his projects. And I was going through it, and I hadn't done one of those in a long time, and it was just interesting. It's like, rate yourself 1 to 5, all that bullshit. And just like, and it was my buddy Jeff, and I love Jeff, and I wanted to help him out. But just hearing some of the way those questions are worded, and like now seeing some of the psychology behind it, and then getting the responses back, and like feeling the ability to be, or the inability to judge or to rebut my categorization. Like, this is you now. You are a blah this, and you are a
you're
blah.
A 1 through 5.
And this is why you're this, and this is why you're that. And I'm like reading through it just, again, like before I just took it as verbatim. I barely even looked at those things. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my God, there's just so much. This doesn't really do any really good, right? I mean, I guess it could give you a direction, but they speak in such finality that, like,
I have a hard time with those tests because of that. I was like, well, what scenario are we talking about? Because some scenarios I do it this way, and then some scenarios I do it that way.
Well, like the people on the dating websites that put their fucking their Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah,
I'm like
totally.
An L5, 7,
INFJ.
or whatever the fuck. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck any of that means.
Yeah, I have a hard time with those tests too.
Yeah,
because it's
Well, most of that, so and I always just took that as part of the game that we had to play. But I've now read a lot of literature about how those tests were started very racially and sexually
you don't
motivated.
Say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's shocking.
Yeah, asking questions that
they
knew that punch right in the head.
I'm gonna start using that.
Seacrest out.
Oh my God! All right, well. That's all I got.
For lack of a better term.
No, don't get punched in the dick. We'll see you next time.
Punch yourself in the dick.